You're welcome to the program, The Nigerian Governors Live, reaching you from our Abuja studios here in the Federal Capital Territory. My name is Ahon Duna Inga, your host on the program. Well, as you know, The Nigerian Governors Live, on this program, we basically emphasize or probably focus on the state governors and the activities of our governors across the 36 states of the Federation. And trust me, it will amaze you the sort of issues we unravel at our state level, which most of the times go undiscussed or perhaps goes without public notice. But here on the program, we try to beam a searchlight on all of these activities. Today, I have a guest in the studio with me, but we will be going to that in a bit. Now, the general state of insecurity in Nigeria has left most people wondering if the government at the center is overwhelmed with the situation. As it stands now, activities of terrorists generally in most northern states in Nigeria have become worrisome. However, the Nigerian Armed Forces in the past few days have dealt a massive blow on these criminals, taking the fight to them in their enclaves, which has forced the most feared one-time bandit leader, now terrorist, Bello Turji, to call for a truce. In the midst of all of this, one would ask, what role have state governors in these troubled states done to stem the tide? With allegedly huge security votes as chief security officers of their respective states. That is most of what we are going to be looking at today, and our topic of discussion is insecurity in northern Nigeria, the role of state governors in curbing the scourge. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll meet our guests and we'll go right into the conversation.
The Nigerian governors.
I think if we are talking about the issue of banditry, certainly we have seen some improvements. When we had a comparative analysis before the issuance of the security containment order, what we saw in 3 months when we compared, we saw a drastic drop of over 100% in terms of the rates of kidnappings, killings, and associated crimes with banditry.
The Nigerian governors.
Welcome back. The program is The Nigerian Governors Live, reaching you from Abuja, Silverbird Television, Abuja. My name is Ahon Duna Inga. Thank you so much for being there. Well, we're going to go straight into our conversation this evening. Our guest today is Reverend John Hayab. He is the Country Director, Global Peace Foundation, Nigeria. And like I said earlier on, what we're going to be talking about today is insecurity in northern Nigeria, the role of state governors in curbing the scourge. Reverend John Hayab, thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you too for having me and
Yes.
to discuss this very important subject.
Yes, important indeed. Let me start off by, I recall growing up, it was almost inconceivable. Besides the history of the Nigerian Civil War as we know it, it was inconceivable imagining a situation where Nigerians will pick up arms against one another, and the level of frequent killings we hear and report every now and then. It was inconceivable that all of this will happen at a time like this in this country. What has really gone wrong in the system?
I think if we want to be honest to ourselves, we had a wrong assumption. Because nothing has really changed. Things keep degenerating from what it were before and to where we are now. I do also have similar sentiment like you, that I do say to people that the last thing that will ever happen in Nigeria is for Nigerians to be a suicide bomber. I think, to my mind, at that time, that Nigerians love themselves so much. Nigerians want to grow. How on earth will a Nigerian blow himself up just to express anger on another person, or blow himself up to kill another person? I believe that Nigeria could have little frictions or disagreements, but there was no way these things were happening today will happen. I believe that there's no way a Hada, who had been part of our community for many years, will one day take gun on me and I start running. Neither do I ever thought that as a farmer I will have a reason to think that, okay, I'd rather protect myself or someone is coming to kill me. I never also thought that a time will come that I'll be scared to travel on the road to Kaduna, Abuja. I've traveled many years since this road was constructed, mostly in the night. I traveled from Abuja to Kaduna, Kaduna back to Abuja. I remember one day I was coming all the way from, I went to Ilorin and I missed my flight. I needed to be to Kaduna the next morning because I'm going to present a paper. I accepted an offer, picked a vehicle, and we drove through the night through Lokoja and Abaji, Gwagwalada, Zuba to Kaduna.
That is utterly impossible now.
But I can't even dare do that. Even in the dream, I will wake up and do what we in the church do, bind our dream, because it's something that is impossible. So I want to believe that we wrongly did not even understand our country. We assume things the way they are not true. Yeah, things went wrong, but they've always been wrong actually, because one leader after the other, things have really never improved. If we have James today, Stephen will say James is a bad leader, he cannot perform. And when we give Stephen the next opportunity, he will be worse than James that he is accusing. And so the other person who is accusing James, when he comes, he will even take us deeper than where we are. And because we really never scrutinize those who lead us, we've never engaged them in constructive engagement to say, look, we own this. You see, let me put it because of the subject we are discussing, insecurity, and then we are looking at it as the governors.
Yeah.
The fact of all is that it's in this country that those who lead us, either they are civilian government or military juntas, never believe that we own this country. They believe that they are doing us favor. So because they are doing us favor, every day we have to worship them. Even when they are making mistakes, we have to respect them. We have to celebrate them. We give them awards. We thank them. But he's a man who never buys fuel with his money anymore because he's governor. He does not buy food with his money anymore because he's governor. He enjoys certain privileges you don't. But you still worship him as if he is the one who employs you, not the one who employs him. I know the other is the other way around, that we actually gave every governor, his appointment letter. I'm part of those who gave him the letter. Whether you vote for him or you don't vote for him, for the mere fact that he won election to lead your state, you gave him an appointment letter because the appointment letter belongs to people of the state. So we own the state, we just ask him as one to manage the state for us. But you know, because we give them, the way we even want to address them, have you been to our function? And here, instead of just saying, Mr. Governor, thank you for coming, this is what we are here, Your Excellency, the man who makes things work, the man who has a Midas touch, and so on. When you begin to say this to an ordinary human being, who you actually give an appointment, he feels that, okay, he owns you. So before you know what is happening, these things get over him, and he wants to tell you what to do. So when he's making mistake, you dare not question him. You have to just praise him even when he is wrong. When people are being killed, you have to celebrate him for killing, for your people being killed. Because instead of asking him a question, why are people being killed? Or no, are you failing or you have failed? No, you dare not ask him.
You know, interestingly, you have delved into the second question I was going to ask you, because looking at the situation, are we going to, looking at the worsening insecurity, because our focus on this conversation is the level of insecurity, particularly in the northern part of the country. Yes, we must agree that generally across board, the situation of security is dire, you know, but we're focusing on the northern part of Nigeria today. Are we going to just apportion the blame? To who do we apportion this blame? Is it just an individual or a group of individuals or the Nigerian society at large?
Well, if we want to talk about apportioning blame, then we will sleep blaming people. Because first, if we want to apportion blame, we have to take the blame ourselves. The electorate are the ones to be blamed. When someone gives you 1,500 naira and you sell your future to allow him control your vote, control your budget, control what rightfully belongs to you, then if he messed up, you can blame him. Yes, we will also blame them because they grew up among us. We know them by name, we know them by the family they came from, and they have also chat with us or discussed with us before they became governors and show us or give us promises of this they are going to do. And when they became governor, they renege on completely all the promises or on the most important part of the promise. Because one of the great requirements of a leader and in government is the protection of lives and properties.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that governance, being a governor or being a political leader, is not about construction of roads. I said to some people the other day that if you want to pride yourself as successful because you build roads, then I'll remind you that the Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos was not built by a democratic elected leader. It was built by a junta. The Federal Road Safety Code that we have today was not established by democratic governance. It was established by a junta. But we never wanted that. We wanted governance that gives people the freedom to add their voices, governance that gives people the freedom to participate and play roles, not governance that impose things on them and ask them to clap. But have we really moved away from there? We only move away by the color of the uniform they wear, because the other ones we are wearing a starch, khaki, green, or whatever color camouflage uniform, but these ones are wearing a starch, blue, yellow, another green, or whatever color agbada, but still acting the same way, because they never act as if they were elected. They never act as if they even seek for people's mandate. They never act as if people ask them to be there. They still believe that, look, we frighten you, we threaten you, and you were afraid, and succumb and allow us to lead you, so you have no say. Okay. So this is where the problem is. But the blame game, I will talk about it as we progress, but I feel strongly that the issue of blame, yeah, we are learning a great lesson in this country. In the past 6 years, if not 12 years, I think we've learned great lessons in this country, because we've had people who came into leadership by luck, and we've had people who came into leadership by election. And all, we can honestly say, did not perform as we expected.
Let's look at the northern stretch of Nigeria. You know, the whole thing started with the Boko Haram. You know, those who are students of history would say we want to trace it back to the era of Metasini, and how Nigeria was able to avoid the catastrophe that would have come with the Metasini. But unfortunately, Boko Haram started, and it seemed as though it was going to be just in a section of the country. It has spread. We've seen bandits operating and all of that. Now, the question is, we've heard governors, elected governors, speak on this matter. Some have been accused of paying off, bandits. Some have been accused of even trying to negotiate with bandits or these criminals, as the case may be. What exactly are the state governors doing wrong? Because so much has been, like I said earlier on in my preamble, it may seem in some quarters that the federal government at the center may be overwhelmed with the situation. But what role have the state governors, or what role have they played or have not played in the deteriorating situation of security?
To answer this your particular question, I will want to start by saying that one of the reasons why we've not been able to tackle insecurity, especially since the coming of Boko Haram to today, is because we started by denying. When Boko Haram started, instead of confronting Boko Haram as evil, we were denying their existence, we were denying who they are, we were denying the evil they are perpetrating, we were denying some form of identity that they have clearly shows they belong. There's nothing wrong for my son to commit evil, and I honor up and say, this is my son, but what he's doing is wrong. So I'll play my role as a father to speak to my son and ask my son and tell my son that what you are doing is evil, what you are doing is wrong, what you are doing is against the law of this land, what you are doing is against moral consciousness, what you are doing is against the faith as a family we profess, what you are doing is bringing a bad name to our home. Then I will also let him know that if you do not stop that, I will work with the law enforcement agent, I will work with the government of the land to ensure that they apply the appropriate sanction or take the appropriate action that is needed.
But some will say it's easier said than done.
No, it's not. The truth about it is that this is where we get it wrong. Because when Boko Haram came, first the leaders and the elders of the north, especially the northeast, and especially Yobe and Borno, came out publicly and were trying to accuse some people for what they know was originated from their home. The fact that they succeeded in winning some blind, larger northerners to work with them and say the whole thing was a gimmick to paint the north black, was a gimmick to... There was even time that they would just look at a very famous name from the south and say he's one of those in Boko Haram. But those of us who know about Boko Haram know that Boko Haram had its origin within the Northeast and within a particular tribal group, they gradually recruited more people into their camps. If we have nipped it at the time it started, we wouldn't have gone where we are. People will say that no, Boko Haram became violent because Mohammed Yusuf was killed. President Boko Haram had done damage before Mohammed Yusuf was killed. But because we were living in denial, we wanted to give them a soft landing. We wanted to give them a cover as if they don't exist. Now they have successfully built for themselves territory within us and outside us, and they've come back to torment us. Let's come back. When you move a little out of Boko Haram because of our time and come to banditry. When banditry came up, that was the same denial. And that's where one of the governors, especially the governor of Kaduna State, who at that time was more like a public relations officer of bandits, because he was speaking more for the bandits.
Well,
than,
that's a serious
yeah, of course,
statement to
because
make.
this is a national television, and if he think he's not, I can give a reason why. Because when bandits started killing people, what they did was to quickly paint it as if they are not bandits. They paint them as farmers, herders conflict. The conflict that went on for some time in southern Kaduna, people were attacked, people were killed, was tag farmers, herders conflict. And I've always laughed. What do you mean by farmers, herders conflict? If I sleep in my house, or I'm sleeping in my house, and a gunman comes with weapons, set houses ablaze, people start coming out running, and he will open fire, kill women, kill children, kill old people, kill young people. Where is the farm that we are having conflict with him? Where are the animals, or where is the issue of animals and others that is creating conflict? This is a criminal. This is an evil person terrorizing fellow citizens. Instead of going after him, you give him a good name, and he successfully hide under the name and continue to cause havoc. And that was the same story. Oh, in Zamfara, it is a farmers herders conflict. It is not about anything. But gradually we get to know that it's far, far, far beyond farmers herders. Because today, what is going on, if someone will stop a whole bus, set the bus on fire, and surround the bus with weapons, no one can come out of that bus, so let everybody burn and burnt to death.
But let's put it.
You call such farmers herders. So when we begin to use those terminologies to describe criminals who started causing havoc in our nation, then they grow and become big, they grow and become strong, and now they turn, because by the time he has killed the other man you don't want to see, he will come back and kill another one. You know, when people become so used to shedding blood, so used to destroying lives, even a mere provocation, the simple disagreement, he will just turn his gun.
But let's look at it this way.
Down.
In the same vein, we've had state governors. You mentioned this, the governor of Kaduna State. At public fora, he has made it very clear that these criminals should be exterminated.
Wow, that was an afterthought. I think
no.
He did, even he was the first. It's also public media that came out to say, look, when these killers were going around killing people, he had to even follow them beyond the shore of Nigeria. That's another story. That's another very interesting aspect of what went wrong.
But wasn't
that he went out beyond the shore of Nigeria to pay them money to stop killing. The governor publicly said so.
Was that not a part of compensation from what we gather? Was
compensation on what
for the white paper?
No. At that time, there was no even white paper in Kaduna State, because I was very close, and I actively get involved when this whole thing happened. Because the story is like hiding under the post-election violence of 2011, which we do know that it was not just in Kaduna State, it was virtually in everywhere, many parts of the north, where northerners feel the result did not favor the candidate they wanted, and they started acting funny by hitting at other fellow Nigerians whom they felt did not vote for the candidate they love, and injured them, killed them, destroyed them, and then others just reacted to what happened. Now, instead of finding a way of reconciling people, you now pick a particular group of people and went and gave them money. And how did you take the money even out of the country? Those that they have made them homeless in your country, you've not rebuilt for them. Those that they've made them leave their communities, you've not done anything for them. But you took money abroad, according to you, we don't even know how true it is, and you gave them to stop the killing. Now, from that time to today, have they stopped the killing? The fact that when they got that money, probably that was the money they even got more weapons and started causing more harm. But so what we are simply saying is, when people who are in leadership lack the understanding of dealing with insecurity problem, and then talk in such a way that enemies of the state, enemies of their citizens begin to think that they are on their side, I tag such people as public relations officers of the enemy, because you're supposed to come out and condemn the enemy. You're supposed to show the enemy that you are in charge and you will not allow the enemy to torment your citizens. But you even blame your citizens for crying out, and then you went and gave the enemy money. When the enemy now became so used to having money and started terrorizing virtually everybody and collecting money, the same you came back again and said, no, I'm not going to negotiate with bandits. I'm going to go after them. Even if the bandits themselves will just laugh at you, because, hey, wait a minute. Are you not the same person who was offering money, who has been offering money, even went beyond? We are operating in Nigeria. You didn't give us money, and you went and gave the ones that are outside Nigeria money. So we are operating here. Come and give us our own money. So the bandit will just laugh at such kind of gesture. That's why I've always argued every time that when the governor of Kaduna said, and I quote, that no, you see, I am not going to negotiate with bandits. Nobody have ever asked the governor of Kaduna State to negotiate with bandits, because the day we allow our governor to negotiate with bandits, we are finished. The governor have no reason negotiating with bandits. But I think when we use that to play politics and play game, when people's lives are being involved, as I speak to you this hour, you know that just yesterday, Kaduna State lost 38 people in one area, Giwa area.
Shifting away, it's an unfortunate situation that happened in Kaduna. But looking at the case in Kaduna might be peculiar. It may have certain offshoots and all of that. But let's look at other states as well, like the Zamfara state. Let's look at Katsina state, and recently Sokoto. What would you say is playing out there? How have the governors? What role have the governors played? I mean, indirectly in fostering this whole situation.
If you are a governor, when you were seeking to lead your state, you were not seeking to come for a tea party. You were seeking to come and show leadership. Part of leadership is you carry the responsibility of those citizens. You see, as governor, he announces our budget, but it's our budget, not his budget. As governor, if our representative agree with what he present, he execute our budget, not his budget. So as governor, he is mandated by our constitution to ensure that our lives and our properties are secured. So whether he is governor of Kano State, governor of Zamfara State, governor of Sokoto State, governor of Kebbi State, governor of whatever state you call Kaduna State, that is the same constitution.
The governors have constantly complained that their hands are tied.
No.
That they don't have the authority to summon the Inspector General of Police or military formations, even in their various states.
You see, so these are the kind of stories. If you bring the security chiefs here, if they don't want, if they are courageous enough to speak out their minds and don't get into the rot of any power, they will tell you that how many of those governors even listen to them. A governor that the security chiefs around, from the director of SSS, the commissioner of police, and all other security within his state, will advise him from the point of knowledge, from the point of intelligence, where he believes that they do what he wants, not what they suggest. Because you see, security effort is a team effort. Security effort is not a showship. So you meet weekly to do what you call security council meeting. Is it what you want to be done that is done, or what they suggest? So when some of them tell you what they are going through, you will pity them. You know that some of them that are claiming that they don't have power over the police, but they keep running here every day and ask the IG to remove a commissioner of police who refused to dance to their tune, or they ask the DGSSS to remove the SSS director of the state who refused to dance to their tune, or go to the chief of army staff and ask him to remove a unit or a commander of any of the military or any of the security unit who do not dance to their tune. So you cannot eat your cake and have it.
So I've not asked any question about the state police.
I'm coming to that, because we are just looking at, you are saying they don't have the power. If you don't have the power, but you can run here and ask them to be removing the people who do not want do what you are doing. One thing I believe governors are supposed to know that we know is that the police commissioner that is sent to your state is coming as a professional. If you allow him to work as a professional without dabbling, without trying to meddle into what he is doing, you will see a result. And if he fails, then you will hold him responsible. Remember, the director of SSS is a professional. Yes. When he comes into your state, when you allow him to work and find out crimes that are going on in your state and expose them and work with the other agency to arrest them, you will get result. But when he comes, you are already giving him a boundary. don't step this way, because most of these governors who are crying have some people who are untouchable. And they think people don't know about it. People know this.
We're running out of time, but in next 1 minute and 30 seconds, what is the solution? Because at the end of it all, there has to be a solution where lives will be saved.
For me,
and
the
properties will
solution
not
is
be
very
destroyed.
simple. Number one, I want governors to know that they don't have monopoly of knowledge. Work with all stakeholders, whether they are young men, whether they are women, whether they are men, whether they are politicians, your colleagues, across party lines, across whatever interest. Work with faith leaders, work especially with traditional rulers, then listen to the security experts that have been sent to your state. If you work with everybody, you see, unless we have an all-inclusive security dialogue, conversation. We are not saying the 8 million people in Kaduna should come and talk about. We have representation, but we also have people representing other cadre. Work with them. Then together, you will win the trust of people. When you win the trust of people, they will start telling you, we notice a visitor, we notice a stranger, we notice an evil man. But you see, when you have cut off from people and people no longer trust you, people even think that opening to speak to you is like betraying themselves. Opening to speak to you is like endangering their life. They keep mute and act and turn the other way. There is this saying that when you see something, say something. People are seeing so many things, but they cannot say it.
Wow. What a way to end the conversation. I wish we could go on and on. Too many questions to unravel. The issue of the state police is there. The security vote is also there, but perhaps we'll look into that in the not too distant future. Don't forget, we're gradually approaching 2022 and political activities will definitely be heightened. And these are some of the conversations that will definitely come up. I'd like to thank profoundly Reverend John Hayab, Country Director, Global Peace Foundation of Nigeria, for coming on the program, The Nigerian Governor's Live. Thank you so much for coming. And then our topic of discussion today has been insecurity in northern Nigeria, the role of state governors in curbing the scourge. Well, like I said, that is all we can take for the program today. We'll be back same time, same station next week with another exciting edition of the program, The Nigerian Governor's Live. My name is Aon Duna Inga. Do have a pleasant evening.